I'm sure you've heard the stories, tales passed down for generations, echoing through the halls of history. God spoke from burning bushes that blazed, but were never consumed, sent vivid dreams that changed destinies, parted mighty seas to rescue his people, and even descended in thick, mysterious clouds atop mountains. These moments were unmistakable, awe-inspiring, and left no doubt that the divine was near and active in the world. But today, it doesn't seem quite the same. The pews are often empty, and when we look up searching for a sign, the heavens seem silent. The burning bushes don't appear in our backyards, and the clouds don't descend with thunderous voices. For many, it feels like God's voice has faded into the background noise of our busy lives. So, what changed? Let's start with the most important truth. God hasn't changed one bit. Just as the sun rises faithfully each morning and rivers flow steadily to the sea, God's nature remains constant, unwavering, and true. Scripture reminds us, I, the Lord, do not change. His promises, His love, and His presence are as real now as they were in ancient times. The foundation of faith is built on this unchanging character. So if God feels distant, it's not because He's packed up and left us behind. He hasn't abandoned His creation or turned His back on humanity. The distance we feel is not a sign of His absence, but perhaps a clue that something else is at play, something deeper is going on beneath the surface. Maybe it's not about God moving away, but about us moving in a different direction or losing our sense of how to listen and connect. Back in Torah times, God was laying the groundwork for everything to come. He was hands-on, guiding, correcting, and setting things in motion for the future. He appeared in dramatic ways because He was establishing a relationship with humanity, teaching them who He was and what it meant to follow Him. But then, everything shifted. Once Jesus came, the Word made flesh. God's approach changed. Through Jesus, God stepped into our world, walked among us, and showed us His heart in a way that was personal and tangible. Now, instead of thunder and burning bushes, we experience the gentle whispers in our hearts, the quiet nudges of His Spirit, and the steady wisdom of His Word. God's presence is no less real, but it's often more subtle, inviting us to listen more closely and seek Him with intention. But here's the thing, humanity has changed. Our world is faster, louder, and more distracted than ever before. We fill our days with endless activity, rarely pausing to reflect or listen. In ancient times, people lived slower. They watched the stars, listened for meaning in dreams, and paid attention to the rhythms of nature. They expected the divine to speak, and they made space to hear. Today, we scroll, swipe, and rush from one thing to the next. Our attention is divided, and our hearts are often restless. The noise of modern life can drown out the still, small voice of God. Maybe it's not that God's gone quiet. Maybe we've just turned up the volume on everything else. The world is full of distractions, and it's easy to miss the gentle ways God still speaks. Sometimes God chooses silence, not to punish us, but to awaken our longing. In the quiet, we become aware of our deep need for Him, and our hearts are stirred to seek Him more earnestly. It's a bit like a game of hide and seek. God may seem just out of sight, not to frustrate us, but to draw us into a deeper pursuit. He wants us to desire His presence, to search for Him with all our hearts. In those moments of searching, we're invited to seek not just answers to our questions, but a real relationship with Him. The journey itself becomes a way to know God more intimately, and yes, God still speaks. In some places, especially where He's not yet known, He reveals Himself through dreams, visions, and miraculous encounters. He meets people right where they are, in ways they can understand. But for most of us, we're living in the age of faith, trusting not just what we see or feel, but who He is. Faith means believing that God is present, even when we can't sense Him in dramatic ways. So, is God distant, or have we simply forgotten how to listen with the same expectant, childlike hearts that once heard Him so clearly? Maybe the real question is whether we're willing to slow down, quiet our souls, and listen again. The invitation is always open. God is still speaking, still reaching out, still longing for us to draw near. The light is streaming in, waiting for us to step into it. Are we ready to hear? Are we willing to make space in our lives, to open our hearts and to listen for the voice that has never stopped speaking?